Good morning, everyone. Well, I think it's afternoon at this point, but welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, my channel is all about self-care, and a big part of my self-care is doing my makeup, actually. I look on it as an art form and kind of meditation practice, and it's something that helps relax me at any point in the day. It's not unheard of for me to do my makeup at 10 o'clock at night just to try something new out. And it's certainly a way for me to relax before work in the morning, just get my face all ready to go. So for me, when I tend to do makeup, it's usually like really quick, about 5 minutes, or I spend 2 hours. So this is going to be the former today. It's summertime. It's hot out. Most of us don't feel like wearing a full, heavy face of stuff. And if you do, that's totally great. Go for it. And I can do more stuff. Like if we want like a full beat, we can do that. But here's what I like to do, especially if you're traveling. I know not many of us are traveling these days because of COVID, understandably so. And especially if you're just getting started with makeup and you don't have a lot of products, that's okay. That's totally okay. You can do so much with just a few things, minimal tools. Your fingers are some of your best friends when you're doing makeup. So let's get started. I've got my coffee ready to go. Oh, incidentally, coffee, like my favorite thing in the world. So what I've been doing lately, I like iced coffee. It's like my favorite thing. And I like to do like a little bit of flavoring sometimes, but I don't eat sugar. So I'm always like on the lookout for stuff that flavors gives it a little sweetness without being sugar. So this is my favorite combination these days. It's the sweet drops from Sweet Leaf. It's vanilla stevia. You only need a little bit of this because it's really strong. I love stevia. Some people find it a little bit bitter. I'm used to it and I really like it. And then this is from Weldon Flavorings. You can get these on Amazon, and this is just flavor, no sweetener added at all. So this one's the coconut. This is also really good in seltzer. It tastes just like the LaCroix coconut, which I love. So I just put like a little bit of each of these in my coffee that I've added almond milk to. I don't really like dairy. I eat dairy, but I don't really like it in my coffee. So I prefer almond milk or oat milk or something non-dairy for my iced coffee. So that's what I've got going here. So let's get down to it. Okay, so this is, I wanted to pull out minimal products for this just to make this really like fast and easy for you guys. So I have prepped my skin already, and skincare is such a huge part of makeup. And it's also a self-care ritual for me. I really love having my morning and especially my nighttime routine. Nighttime is when I tend to get a little more involved with my skincare because I'm washing everything off from the day. I'm taking my makeup off or breaking down my sunscreen and really just taking a few minutes to myself to get me ready for bed. So my morning skincare typically looks like, and I brought some of my products out. Okay. So I cleansed my skin already. And then I went in first with the Crave Beauty Great Barrier Relief. As you can probably tell, I have a lot of redness on my face. I have rosacea. I've had it for years. I struggled with acne first when I was a kid, and then it morphed into rosacea. So yay, thanks genetics, but it is what it is. And I've tried various things off and on throughout the years, and I will do a whole video devoted to skincare at some point. But in the meantime, it's really something I focus on these days. With rosacea, typically folks have problems with dryness. I would say my skin type is more combination, that I tend to get oily through my T-zone here. And this is typically where my makeup breaks down the most. And then I'm very dry on these red patches on my cheeks. So I used to use really stripping products that would, I thought I had to compensate for all that oil. And I've actually been focusing on hydration and moisture for my skin, and it's been so much better. Everything feels like it's balancing out. So Great Barrier Relief was recommended to me by James Welsh, who's a skincare guy on YouTube. I'm going to link to several creators. I absolutely love what he talks about. And this is wonderful for sensitive rosacea prone skin. So it's a serum, but it's a thick serum, and it has some nice oils in here, like rosehip oil has been a game changer for me. So I put this on first. I use this as my moisturizing step after I cleanse my face and put a little toner on. And then the most important part of skincare is during the day is sunscreen, especially if you have rosacea. It is absolutely vital. Don't do what I did and not wear sunscreen for like 10 years, and it made my skin so much worse. My rosacea has been so much calmer and happier since I started incorporating skincare into my routine. So this is the Biossance Squalane, I think I'm saying that right, and zinc mineral sunscreen. For myself, and typically folks with rosacea and really sensitive skin tend to do better with physical blockers like zinc oxide, which this has, or titanium dioxide, instead of like chemical sunscreen. So those are things like oxybenzone, avobenzone, things like that. So starting to read your sunscreen labels is really important if you do have super sensitive skin or rosacea like mine. The thing I love about this is zinc oxide or titanium oxide based sunscreens tend to leave a white cast on the skin, especially if you have darker skin tones. It can be a big problem. Granted, I have very light skin, so I don't exactly know the struggle, but I have struggled with white cast, and this does not leave it. You need to give it a little bit of time and kind of work it into the skin gently, but ultimately there is no white cast left, and it sinks in nicely. It's moisturizing. It doesn't feel heavy on my skin, and I love it. And Biossance is a clean beauty company, so if that's something that's important to you, they are very strict about the ingredients that they use and the sustainability of their products and in their packaging. So I love that. Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye turned me on to Biossance. So now what I'm going to do, so I like to let my skincare sink into the skin for ideally like 15-20 minutes before you start your makeup. I realize that's not always possible. If you are busy and you just got home from a night shift the night before and you only have like 10 minutes to get ready, great. It does help with the longevity of your makeup if you can give it a few minutes for your skincare to sit in, but you got to do what you got to do. So anyway, back to it. So now I am going to prime my skin, and I got a sample of the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas in my Sephora order. I love ordering some from Sephora online because you get free samples in every order, and it's just awesome. So I wish this wasn't so pricey because I love it. As soon as I tried it, I was like, oh, damn, like I really want to buy the full size of this. So I just took like 2 little pumps, worked it in with, and then I just go in with primer on the areas where my makeup tends to break down. So for me, that's on my nose and kind of right in on my cheeks, right into my nose. I do go under my eye with this and just go gentle on your eye area because the skin's really thin and it can bruise really easily. So I just play nice. I put a little bit on my chin because I have blackheads, like texture on my chin, and then a little bit in my forehead. So basically in my T-zone area, I find I really don't have to do this all over my face. So I'm just going to let that sit in for a minute, and then we'll go in with the rest. take another sip of coffee. Let me know in the comments about other primers that you like. If you find things that are, really help your makeup stay on a little bit longer. Definitely hydrating primers. I want to hear what you have to say. All right. So I think that's good. So today, what I'm going to use for foundation and concealer is the Bare Minerals. I think what is this called? Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick. And I am in the shade Birch 1.5. It is for fair skin with yellow undertones. And I've found for me, as a person with rosacea, yellow-based foundation shades seem to work better in canceling out my redness. I do have the actual skin tone that you can see, and I don't have a great camera at the moment, so you can't tell as well. But my natural undertone, if ignoring the redness, is a little bit like fair and peachy. So the yellow just seems to work for me. So that's my spiel about makeup for rosacea. I tend to find yellow-based things work better. So what I'm going to do is just put the stick foundation on areas where I feel like I need coverage. I am not going to go, you can call this spot foundationing. I'm not going to go all over my face. We're going to blend it in. So I'm just going to do a little bit on my nose, a bit on my cheeks here, little bit on my forehead, and a bit on my chin. So I'm just going to start for right now. And stick foundations are great if you are needing to pack an overnight bag or take a makeup bag to work and you want to be able to touch up at work, because they're so portable. They don't spill around everywhere. They are usually thicker than liquid foundation. So you may need to work them into the skin a little bit more, but for me, that's fine. It's just experimenting and finding out what works best for you. But in terms of keeping products minimal, you can also use a stick foundation as an under eye concealer, which is what I'm going to do today. So I do love using my fingers, but I do have some brushes. Just a few good brushes are all that anybody really needs to do a great everyday face. So this is my Sigma F80 brush, which Taylor Wynn, who's my favorite makeup YouTuber and lifestyle blogger, I absolutely love her. I'm going to try and link her channel below because she is such an inspiration to me. So she loves this brush. And this is the special edition for Pride, which they released last month. And I was so excited when they came out with this because I've been wanting this foundation brush forever. And I got my hands on it. So Sigma brushes are amazing. They'll last you forever. They're really well constructed and soft. And this is their flat kabuki brush. So this is a really nice shape for kind of pushing that makeup into the skin and then buffing it out. So I'm going to lean in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of going back and forth between stippling motions and buffing, just blending that out. And I apologize for not the great camera. I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, but we're going to work on it. So I focus on my cheeks. My cheeks and my nose are where I want my coverage because my nose, just from the rosacea and from, honestly, guys, from trauma of picking, it's pretty red. So that's typically where I want my coverage. So just buffing and blending that out, tapping it in, making sure it looks the way I want. And so this is a pretty sheer, I hope you can see this, some of my redness is still coming through, but not a lot. I definitely don't mind skins showing through and some imperfections. I used to not want that at all. I was a full coverage gal. And then I just kind of gave up on that. And my skin improved. And so my makeup's starting to look better. So again, skincare first, because you will need much less makeup if your skin is in good condition. Everything will just sit better. So skincare first, everyone. All right. That looks pretty good. Okay, so just keeping it at that. And then what I'm going to do to keep things really easy is go in with this as my concealer from under my eyes. So I'm just going to take my ring finger, grab a little bit on my finger, and just, you don't need much. I probably grabbed too much just now, but just tapping it in. The ring finger is your weakest finger, so that just prevents you from doing damage to that really thin skin under your eye. And then I typically, I don't know if you can see it, but I have this little dimple right here on this cheek, and it's like my little puffy patch of redness. So I typically take a little extra foundation or concealer and just blend in over that, look up, and use your finger so you can really get into that inner corner of the eye. And then I'm gently blending it down so it melds in with the rest of my makeup. It doesn't look so obvious that I have concealer on. And now I'm going to do the other eye. And look up. Most people are darkest in the inner corner, so you want to focus in there. And then a little bit with concealer goes a really long way. So less is more, I feel like, with concealer, because a lot of concealer looks amazing on camera, but it doesn't always translate well in real life. It can look kind of cakey and heavy. And I tend to, with my makeup, I tend to want to be the reaction from people being like, oh, your skin looks great, rather than, oh, your makeup looks great, if that makes sense. So I sort of feel like a less is more approach, except for my highlighter. I always like it when people are like, man, that highlighter is really good. Anyway, I love highlighter. I love a good glow, especially in the summer. And then I'm also going to use the same foundation on my eyelids, because my eyelids tend to get pretty red, and I want to lay down a base for my eyeshadow to stick to if I'm wearing, and you'll see what I do. My eyelids are very, very oily, so eye makeup tends to break up really quickly if I don't put anything down. Now, in a perfect world, I do use an eye primer when I'm doing eyeshadow or anything on the eyes, but in the interest of keeping this really simple with minimal products, then just stick with your foundation and your powder. And then I'm just going to check and make sure. Got a little pimple right there. Tap that out. Okay. Cool. Looks good. Okay. So that's your foundation, concealer, eye primer, all in one step. So next, what I like to do these days is go in with a color that can double as a lip, a cheek, and even an eye color, just to keep it really, really simple. So today I'm going to be using the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek in the shade Work. I love that. So this is a really nice, like, peachy pink color. So I feel like this would look good on pretty much anyone. I tend to like these, like, kind of peachy nude colors. They just look really flattering and natural. So I'm going to go in with a different finger this time and take a little bit on my finger. And then I typically start my cheek color further back than you would think maybe to do so. But I find I really love my cheekbones, and I love that they're naturally high. However, my face is a little bit fuller at this point in my life. I'm on a weight loss journey. We'll get into that more later. That's for another day. So I like to sculpt out my cheekbones a little bit earlier, a little bit more. And you can, like, you place your cheek color where you want to draw focus and like what you want to do to enhance your face shape. So say, I actually like that I have kind of a long face. I just embrace it. But say you wanted to make your face appear a little bit rounder and fuller, you would concentrate your cheek color more on the apples of the cheeks, and it gives you a rounder, more youthful appearance. If you want more of a sculpted look, then start your cheek color a little bit further back. So I basically like start towards my hairline, and I just tap that color in with my fingers. I love cream products these days. So great. I'm gonna do a little bit more just so you guys can see what I'm doing. So super natural, super flattering, nothing heavy. I'm not coming in farther than like 2 fingers away from my nose. That's something to keep in mind too if you have rosacea, because typically it tends to manifest closer to your nose. So if you keep your cheek color a little bit further back, it will visually draw attention back here instead of like where your redness is maybe concentrated. So I can't wait to get a new camera, you guys, so you can really see what's happening here. But again, I'm going in on the other side and just gently tapping it in to my cheek. All right. So that's that. And then I'm actually going to use this on my eyes today. So just tap that in as a nice sheer color. Nothing crazy. Okay. And then as a lip color. And then I just rub my lips together. This is very moisturizing, so it's really easy to use as like a nice moisturizing lip color, cheek color. It's just gonna make you like look nice and fresh and plump, and then you cap it off. And it's so tiny and it's so easy to just throw in your bag. I really like everything that I've tried from Milk Makeup so far. Their Hydro Grip Primer is really good. I really want to try more of their products because everything's been great. So anyway, so far only 2 products and we've almost done our whole face. So color wise, if you want to stop here and make it like super minimal, you can do that. That's totally fine. I'm going to take it a few extra steps further. So I love a good glow. So I use a highlighter. Where are we here? Okay. First. Hello, what am I doing? Okay, so I do set my makeup with a powder. You don't have to do that, especially if you have very dry skin. You absolutely don't have to do this step. Or you can just be really like mindful of where you place your powder and not powder your whole face. For me, I find that my makeup tends to not last as long since the products I use are very moisturizing if I don't set it. So this is the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation, and I use the shade Fair. There's also the Celebration Foundation Powder Illumination. I really like that one. I actually bought this by mistake and was meaning to buy the Illumination one. So this is technically a powder foundation, but I use it to set my face because it just gives me like a little bit of extra coverage too. And I can tap it in over any red spots that are left from putting on my cream foundation. So I like this a lot. But I always want to hear about other powder foundations. So leave a comment below if there's another powder or powder foundation that provides a little bit of coverage. Well, let me know. So, okay, big fluffy brush. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this. Just get a big fluffy powder brush. The bigger, the fluffier, the sheerer the overall application. This is an IT Cosmetics brush that it's literally so many years old that the name of it has worn off. I want to say it's like the airbrush powder. I really have no idea. You can get IT brushes at Ulta, and I found them to be very good. A cheaper brand that's fantastic is Real Techniques, and those you can get at pretty much any drugstore, Ulta. Makeup artist designed brushes and sponges, and they're really, really good. I have some Real Techniques brushes that have lasted me for years, so highly recommend them too. And then I know if budgeting is a concern for you, Sigma, that makes my foundation brush, also has a lower price line called Pract, and those are really good basic brushes too. So you really don't have to spend a lot of money. So I don't know if you see what I'm doing, I'm talking through this, but I start powdering on my nose and then just tap in the rest over my face. I put a little bit more under my eyes because I tend to get creasing there, and a bit on my brows. And then what I'm going to do is go in with one of my fingers and press that powder onto my eyelids, because that will help lock what I've put in down and prevent oiliness from coming through. So that part's done. Now I'm going to go in with my highlighter, which is my very favorite step in my makeup routine. Here we go. So this is my favorite highlighter that I've ever bought. This is from Juvia's Place, which you can find online at their website or at Ulta. This is the Nubian by Juvia's loose highlighter in the shade Clio. It's a really beautiful, like, champagne-y gold, and this does have glitter in it. It's very fine glitter, but if you don't like a glittery highlighter, you're probably not going to like this one. I love Juvia's Place. I'm actually planning a full face of Juvia's Place tutorial soon because they're having a crazy sale right now, so I'm going to stock up on some stuff. They are a woman-owned and Black-owned makeup brand, which I personally intend on supporting more Black-owned beauty brands in my makeup journey and for this channel. There's so many great creators out there and makeup artists, Danessa Myricks, Pat McGrath. But Juvia's Place is great for very affordable makeup, and you are supporting a Black-owned business. So I love that. Okay, so this is a loose powder. So what I do is I kind of shake the jar around so some will get on the lid. And just watch it because a little dust sometimes flies out. So I have some in my lid. A little bit of this goes a long way, guys. So you can really build this up. I like a nice sheer highlight, like just like a little hit of glow. But if you want something really blinding, put it on with your fingers instead. That's a trick for applying highlighter with any highlighter, especially cream highlighter. Putting usually, like if it's a powder highlighter in particular, putting it on with your finger will really intensify it, whereas a fluffier brush like this will shear out your application. So I'm just going to do a little dip in, tap off the excess on the jar lid. So again, same brush that I use for powder. Again, keeping things really simple. I don't know. Ugh. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's just like a natural, beautiful glow. Oh my God. I love this so much. So just tapping it in. So where I like to place my highlight is right kind of down from the outer corner of my eye, right on, this is called your orbital bone. So right there at the top of the cheek is where I like to place my main highlight. And then I also gonna boop a little bit more on this brush. I also like to take a bit on the bridge of my nose, my upper lip, and lower lip. And then I also do a little tiny bit like just above my eyebrows. I just like how that looks. But really the main area of highlight for me is on the cheek. And I think you can get a good sense of like just how natural and pretty that looks. So again, you can stop here, or if you want a little extra glitter and you don't have eyeshadow on hand, use your highlighter. So I'm dipping a finger, again, fingers are your friend, into the highlighter and just, whoa. See how intense that is? Putting it on with my finger. Versus a brush. Oh man. I like a nice pale eye. My battery's gonna die soon, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. Literally, guys, a jar of this highlighter was like $8. This will last you forever. Oh my God, they're such a good value. What an amazing brand. So I'm gonna try and link to them below. I know they're having a weekend like 4th of July flash sale right now. So since I'm running low on battery here, just gonna curl my lashes real quick, and I tend to like curl the heck out of them. Like I pump my curling iron. All right. Eyelash curler, you know what I mean? A lot, because my eyelashes are very, very straight and grow down, which is just so joyful. Trying to poke me in the eye.